Welcome to the first episode of my mic drops. Welcome to the first ever episode of the 2-for-1 podcast. Welcome. This has been something that for most of you is going to come out of complete nowhere. I think that's the phrase. Yeah. Complete nowhere. But for me, I've been having this in my head for like a little bit now. At first it was just kind of a joke, and then I realized, oh wait, you know what, maybe this will work. I just want to say this is not replacing the Metabolism Men, of course not. I have to rep it right here, of course, and it's not going to replace it or anything. Things are going to stay the same with that podcast. Of course, I'm just doing something new because I like basketball. Now, speaking of liking basketball, I knew that from my experience with podcasting that I couldn't do this alone. So with me, I enlisted my good friend, that we've known each other for about 4 years now. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, about 4 years. Jordani Vasquez, aka JV Wavy. How are you doing today?
I'm good, bro. I literally just got off playing my first hoop session in like 6 months.
That's great. Did you
win?
My
lungs are tired. My feet are tired. No, I did not win. I didn't play that well, but I was getting fouled. I was getting hacked, bro.
Did you score at least?
Yeah. I was getting hacked. I was sick of it.
That's good.
I got like battle scars. You can't even see, like right here. I got a battle scar.
Dang.
It's pretty tiny one, but still.
It's still a scar, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's kind of perfect that you just came back from playing basketball. It shows that for, to some extent, the both of us, ball is life, at least some aspect of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So with this real quick, before we get into everything, obviously this is going to be a basketball podcast. 2-for-1 is obviously a play in basketball. I don't even need to explain it if you're familiar with basketball, and if you're not, then you probably have no need to watch this podcast. But one of the things I wanted to establish early is, wearing something that establishes us as basketball fans. See, it's a little hot in my room. My ceiling fan isn't necessarily working at the moment, so I didn't want to wear my OKC hoodie because OKC is my favorite team. However, I did wear this shirt. I was like, do I have any short sleeve shirts that are basketball related? And I'm just like, I do. So in 2017, Eric Bledsoe tweeted this when he was on the Phoenix Suns, saying, I don't want to be here. That was his way of publicly requesting a trade. I thought it would be funny if I had this on a shirt. And so I looked online, and sure enough, they had it in stock, and I bought it for a completely different reason, but I figured it's still technically basketball related, so we're gonna let it rock. Now, you on the other hand, Danny, people I'm pretty vocal about me being a Thunder fan. I'm sure I've even mentioned it on my other podcasts. But you, I shouldn't even need to ask you this at this point because you're wearing the shirt, but what is your favorite basketball team?
Dude, man, purple and gold, man, the Lakers. That's because of 2-4, man, Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, big Kobe fan. I even got a wristband, Kobe wristband right here. And then I got another jersey because this ain't mine. This is my older brother's jersey, but I borrowed it for this occasion because I made an oopsie and buying my actual Kobe jersey, and it fits too tight. So I'm planning on getting that hung up soon. But yeah, it's in there. So I'm a Lakers fan as of 2010.
2010. Wow. That's a long time. Yeah, so one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast is because obviously the NBA playoffs are they're actually right now. They're there's a few games going on right now, actually. Um, so I figured what better time to start a basketball podcast than now during the most important time of the year in terms of basketball. So one of the things I wanted to establish, just coming out of the gates, in terms of playoff basketball, right? Um, what is your first playoff basketball memory? Like, what is it a play? Is it a series? Like, is it one specific player's run that you remember, like in the playoff? What is your like? Because I know mine, but what is your just like uh the earliest memory of the playoffs that you can remember?
Earliest memory, easy, funny enough, Kobe when he won his fifth ring. Was it? I believe it was his fifth ring. I always forget it was the fourth or fifth ring, but I'm pretty sure it was the fifth ring. When he had got up on the stand and he got the ball, grabbed it, went like that. I remember staying up mad late because I had school the next morning, obviously, but I stayed up mad late. And I remember just watching it. I was like, yo, this dude is really him. Like, I was really like, yeah, like this is the guy. This is the guy. So that was like the earliest memory, and that's one of the things that made me a Kobe fan. Just watching, I was like, yo, like that's this that dude for real.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Oddly enough, for me, mine isn't nearly as epic as that. I think it was like the 2010 or 2011 Orlando Magic versus Atlanta Hawks series. Let me look this up real quick. Let me check what year this was.
Man, I got basketball reference up right now.
Oh, do you? Okay. Oh, you
I'm
came
ready.
prepared.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't play games.
Um,
I don't really know how to use this stuff. Hold on.
it was 2011 Hawks versus Magic. Um, see, back then I was actually an Orlando Magic fan. I grew up watching Dwight Howard play. He really brought me into basketball. Um, whatever that dude is doing now. But so he brought me into basketball. And ever since then, it is crazy how it's all, because of him. So I grew up an Orlando Magic fan, mainly because of Dwight. And I just remember the Atlanta Hawks bouncing Orlando. I think it was the first round. Yeah, I think it was a 4-5 matchup. It was the first round. I remember being upset. I remember being upset with Josh Smith. Was Joe Johnson on the team then, or was he on the? I think he was on the team then. Yeah, Jamal Crawford was on the team. Josh Smith, Al
Was Teague
Horford was
there
on the
yet?
team. Teague, that's a great question. So they had Mike Bibby, Jason Collins, Al
Oh,
Horford, Kirk Heinrich,
oh, these names, bro. These names.
Zaza Pachulia, Jeff Teague was there. Um,
Okay.
so hold on, my dog's barking. I'm gonna cut this out. And we're back, hopefully. My dog was barking, and we're gonna keep it going. So yeah, they had a crazy lineup back then.
Yeah, I
I
just found it while we was on cut break.
yes,
I pulled up the series. It was Jamal Crawford, Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, Horford, Heinrich, Marvin Williams. That's a throwback. Zaza. I think T didn't play like any minutes.
really.
How many minutes did he play? Shoot, I don't even know. But this man scored like this is for the whole series. He scored like 5 points. He didn't play.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. 4 minutes a game. Like he was probably like a rookie.
Yeah, and I use a scrub then, respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of basketball podcasts, Teague has a great one. So shout out to Jeff Teague. He's not watching this, but he's actually really funny. But anyway, so yeah, that was like my earliest playoff, and I think the 2011 run in general, um, because I was when the Dallas Mavericks won the championship. I was in the second grade, and I remember going up to my second grade teacher. Her name is Mrs. Williams, actually. That's pretty funny. And I remember telling her, like, hey, Mrs. Williams, the Dallas Mavericks won the championship. And she was like, I don't care. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
It's a cool teacher, bro. Second grade
Yeah.
teacher talking like that to the kids.
And like, I get it. She could have, she could have phrased it a little nicer. But
Word.
um It is what it is, though. But yeah, no. So that was probably my earliest playoff memory, and then ever since then, I've just been really happy. With basketball. Of course, I ended up becoming a OKC Thunder fan after a brief hiatus from basketball. I just kind of wasn't into it for a little bit, but and obviously I'm into it now more than ever. So, yeah. Now I do have a second question still in the realm of playoff basketball. You, I'd asked what your earliest memory was in terms of playoffs, but do you have an answer for what your favorite playoff memory is? Just like it doesn't matter how recent it is, how old it is, just like your absolute favorite.
Man, uh, these words are gonna ring a bell in everyone's head who was there, man. I'm sorry, James. This is gonna affect you.
No.
Game 6, 2016, Warriors at OKC, Mr. Klay Thompson. Shit, yo, I literally was just talking about this the other day with my brother, bro. That was one of the craziest experiences in sport I've ever had, bro. I was literally in the living room, me, my father, my brother, and we was just in awe, bro. Like, that was one of that over everything. I'm never gonna forget that. Like, literally, just being there, watching this dude hit threes from the logo, like it's a layup. Bro, it was blowing our minds away, bro. All three of us. We was like, this dude is on something different right now. Like, that was wild. That was so wild.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Well, mine ironically has nothing to do with OKC. It's actually kind of funny that neither of our favorite playoff, memories has to do with our favorite teams. Mine actually has to do with LeBron, who's so for those who aren't aware, my number one favorite player of all time is Russell Westbrook. Number two is LeBron. Obviously, I'm not trying to say that Russ is better than LeBron because it's not really a contest. Of course, Russ is better. No, I'm kidding. Of course, LeBron is a top three of all time in my opinion. Um, but Russ is my favorite player. LeBron is number two, and I mean that 2018 run,
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's a little it's nostalgic at this point, but
just,
that was some of the best basketball that I had ever seen a player perform ever
hmm
in my life.
I think the
And
thing that sticks out most from that run was LeBronto. Like, literally,
Toronto,
I'll never forget LeBronto. Like, I'll never forget that either. That was wild. That
coming,
was
it was
yeah.
ridiculous. I remember that game one, I think the Cavs were down by like
hmm
10, 15 points or something, and
Yeah, yeah.
LeBron just went nuclear, and the game went into overtime. I was out at the time, and then I came home, and I was like, "Oh, the game's still going." So I was watching that, and LeBron just was that the
That was
there
when he
were,
hit the game winner, I think. That little
with
like
the
load in one-legged game winner
and I
or
remember
baseline. Yeah.
remember Jonas Valanciunas. He was like,
Oh man.
that was so
Oh
funny.
yeah.
I got to put the clips up on the screen for sure, but
Oh yeah.
oh, that was so funny. And nah, that was just I was for a split second, I was actually considering maybe he is the GOAT because I had never seen anything like that before in my life. Obviously,
Mm-mm.
with us, you know, being young, we weren't there for MJ in his prime. Um, but that for that small part, I still have MJ over LeBron, but LeBron almost got me with that one. I'm not gonna lie. And then of course, his amazing run came to an end in Game One of the NBA Finals, where he almost pulled it off. But then it's like, what are you doing? The J.R. Smith thing. I remember I was in my basement and I was just like, yeah, JR, yeah, JR, yeah, JR. And then he did it, and I'm just like,
Oh
no,
man.
JR, no, JR.
Oh man.
That was crazy. And I was rooting for Cleveland so hard. Because I mean, that was the Golden State with Kevin Durant, and I was
Yeah, I was the we hate this squad Golden State even
that
more
was
than we
yeah,
already did.
it was crazy. And then they ended up getting swept, and that was unfortunate. And then he went to your team. So I guess you got something out of it.
Oh, bro, I was so hyped, bro. I my brother got this memory on Instagram of what he signed here. I was going so crazy, bro. I had no Lakers gear on, bro. And I remember getting so hyped. I grabbed all my Lakers gear. I put it all on. I was like, yo, we going to the chip. We going to the chip. And it only happened with the Mickey Mouse here, but we don't gotta talk about that.
well, we actually ended up missing the playoffs immediately after,
Mm-hmm.
but then you
Yeah, I
went to the
remember that.
finals. So hey, at
We'll
least you
take
got
it.
a ring. At least your team
We'll take
has won a ring, and you're actually you've won multiple rings in your lifetime. Mine
it.
hasn't.
Yeah,
But hey, man, we're the number one seed this year, so we'll
we'll
see.
stick
It's
this
not
year.
gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
No, let's
But
stick
but
around this year.
but
I know they're sticking man.
we
Just because they young.
even
But
if
we're
it's
not getting
not
into
this
that. We're not
year,
getting
we're
into
not
that.
gonna
We're not talking about we're not talking
nine.
about this year's plan. We're not talking
Oh
about that. We're not
yeah, yeah.
talking about
So
that. I
but
was about to
yeah,
go off.
that is that is definitely my favorite. Other time because trying to think of any other ones that really come to mind. I gotta get closer to Mike. Another playoff thing that I really, what was really crazy? It was mad recent. This isn't like up there, but like I remember having an insane reaction. When Derek White had that shot, like
Oh
the
yeah.
layup to
Last year,
to
right?
extend it, yeah, the last year to
That
extend
was
it
one
to
of the
game
craziest things I've
seven.
ever seen.
That
I
is
literally
if
just got home from something, and we just tune in, and I see this man tapping with point 0.2 seconds left. I'm like, I wasn't even like, I didn't even have a crazy reaction. I'm really sitting here like, yo, this dude really did that? Like, literally, I was literally just like what? Like, this
yeah,
really just happened? Like, I was really
yeah.
my I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, it was nuts. I think I remember hearing like my brother in the back, like, oh no, he didn't. No way. Because my brother like never has, unless it's like his team, I never hear him have any like strong reactions to stuff. So when I saw that, I'm just like, there's no way. So I knew it was real once I heard him in the back. But yeah. And then as for I mean, I should probably share one OKC, moment. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of success in the past with going to the Western Conference Finals. We went to the finals when I was in like third grade. I remember there was like this little jingle because everyone hated, the Heat back then, and there's a
Yeah.
little jingle where it's like OKC's gonna sweep or something like that, and that's not what ended up happening. I think they won game one or game two. I think they won game one, if I'm not
They won a
mistaken.
game. I remember it was a gentleman's sweep, but I
It was a
forgot what
gentleman's
game it
sweep.
was.
I think it was game one or game two. I know it was early. I could be wrong. I'll let the stats guy handle that. But yeah, so that was of course, I was always there. But um I think in recent years, because we haven't made the playoffs too many times, like in recent years. But one that
No,
always stood out to me was when Russ and Damian Lillard. Now, look, we don't have to bring up anything else that happened in this series, okay? We don't. No, 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 no. We don't have to bring that up. But I'm just saying, um, there was this one play where Russ hit a three with the shot clock winding down. And it was a pretty clutch three. And him and Dame were just they were going, at it over like throughout the entire series. And Russ is pointing at Dame. He's screaming, "That's what I do!" Blah 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 blah. He's just going crazy. He's just screaming at him, and probably saying a whole bunch of other words. And I thought that was great. I was so hyped. And then I don't remember what happened after that. I don't know. I don't remember. But
if I'm gonna talk about a positive Thunder moment to make up for
okay.
that one, this is somehow like I don't know. I never see anybody talk about this shot, but it's literally like was engraved in my mind. You remember? I think it was either in the semis or the Western Conference Finals when the Thunder played the Grizzlies, and I think they was down by like 3 or 4 points. And this man KD, it was like a loose ball or it was off for inbound, and this man was in the corner,
He was falling,
double
right?
team, falling backwards, and this man knocked that shot down
Yeah.
and won. I'm like, and I'm like in my head, I'm like, nobody ever talks about that shot somehow.
Yeah.
But that's one of the craziest shots I've ever seen, not even just in playoff history, but that I've ever seen like live.
That was
That
ridiculous.
shot was insane,
I know
and
exactly
nobody
what shot it
ever
was.
talks
Yeah,
about that.
that
And
was
I'm like,
crazy.
how we never mentioned this? How's this never in a? This is never in a KD compilation, bro.
Yeah,
Out of all shots, this shot is not in a KD compilation. I'm like, I was wild.
that
I
was
was.
nuts. I don't remember exactly what year it was. I think that was before Steven
I think it was
Adams.
this year. I think it was
What?
the year that they went to the finals. No, they played the
2012?
Spurs this year. Hold on. Yeah. No, they played the Lakers in the. Oh, what?
Because in their 2012 year, I don't think they went against the Grizzlies because they went against the Mavericks, the Spurs, and the Lakers. Not necessarily in
Yeah.
that order, but
No, I wasn't in the order, but yeah, that's what they won against. And that year
so
they won the first game. He was right.
was that the Dwight Howard Lakers? No, I don't think so. I think that was 2012, 2013.
I think it actually was Lakers.
No, because no, because
2011, 2012.
because the All-Star game that year was in Orlando, and Dwight was like the number one vote getter over LeBron. So that was his last year in Orlando. It was the next year where he went to the
Yeah,
Lakers.
yeah, you're right.
Crazy how everyone loved him back then. Now and then everyone hated him after that. Now it's old everything. But so yeah, those are some great playoff memories. We can go all day about this stuff, and I'm sure we'll have multiple times throughout the podcast to talk about it. But I do want to get into this year's podcast or this year's playoffs just a little bit. Um, obviously the games are still going on. It was kind of my mistake. I didn't realize that there was like hardly a gap between the playing games and when the actual playoff game
No, me
started.
neither. I thought they'd get at least like 2 days rest.
Yeah, so I'm just like, all right, so we'll have the time to do an episode to have all of our predictions, and of course that didn't end up happening. But we can't do full predictions now just because it would be a little bit of cheating. I mean, by the time we're recording this, Lakers and Nuggets game 2
It's gonna start soon.
is going to start soon. I just heard my brothers say
Hmm.
something, so something crazy must have happened. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, hold on, I can check my Twitter real quick.
Well, the Cavs
Um,
are 2-0 now. That was an easy dub.
that was an easy W.
Knicks and Sixers is pretty close.
Shoot. All right, let's wrap this up. So no, but nah, so I do want to get into a little bit. There are some series that we really don't need to talk about. Celtics and Heat. Celtics gonna win that at 4, maybe 5 if Tatum just if he doesn't play well, but
If Tatum
that's
goes to sleep, really.
they're gonna win that. They're gonna win that with ease. It's not gonna be an issue. Cavs and Magic, we could talk about it. I don't really care though. Cavs got this in the bag. Jalen
Yeah, they were
Suggs went
cooling
down with
for
an injury today. They say
sprain.
they say it's a knee sprain. It looked pretty
Mm-hmm.
bad though. I don't think. I mean, put it this way: he was questionable to come back to the rest of the game, which is cool. But I don't. It doesn't really matter. I think the Cavs are going to win this comfortably. Maybe in 5. I'll say 5. Just because like a sweep is pretty rare, but I'll say 5.
Yeah,
Even though I think it was kind of crazy that they purposely lost that one game just so they could face Orlando. But I guess it
they
was for a
confident.
good cause. It was a
Yeah, they
good
got the confidence.
yeah. So there's that game. The other East games was there's Milwaukee and Indiana. This is an interesting one because Giannis is out, but even with that being the case, Milwaukee was able to win pretty easily. Tyrese Halliburton was not very good. He was putting up some Josh Giddey stats. But like the bad Josh Giddey, not like, the good Josh Giddey we've been getting for the past, like month or so, except for that
Yeah,
last
I know he was
except for that last
really
playoff
playing.
game, but
I know he was playing really well.
he was.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I mean, do you think Giannis's injury will affect the Bucks that much? How do you see this series playing out with this injury and just in general?
Realistically, last night showed that they can win, but you have to think about like outliers because the thing is that Hallie's not going to play that bad every game.
Yeah,
If he plays that bad every game, then it's in the bag.
yeah,
But with that bad of a game, I'm looking at the stats right now. He only took 7 shots, only 9 points. He still got a good amount of assists and he got a good amount of rebounds. But that's outlier game. If he played how he averaged, this game would have been down to the wire.
Yeah.
And that was with Dame putting up that game that he did, scoring what 35 in the first half. I only heard about his first half, but he scored 35. That's
Because
already
I don't
like
think he scored at all in the second half.
yeah. I
If
look at
if
him
he
right
did,
now.
then he barely scored if at all. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's like so if Hadley can get his stuff back together, the games can be close. But that's without Giannis. If he's
Yeah.
able to come back during the series, I think the Bucks can take it. But I don't know what his status is supposed to. What's his status? Like, have they updated it?
They say he'll be out for like at the time, I think it was 2 weeks. So, but that was like maybe a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
But like Giannis's injury, he's been struggling with the injury
This
recently a
year, yeah.
lot in general. So I think they'll probably leave him out if they continue to win games, which I think is a smart choice. I it's a bit of a weird thing because the Bucks have a terrible defense, and Indiana, although it's cooled down a little bit, their offense was like otherworldly earlier this year. And
Yeah,
so that's never a great combination where you have a bad defense and a good offense. So I expect Indiana to steal at least a couple of games, but I do think, I mean, I don't know. The Bucks have been really bad sometimes, but I think especially if Giannis does come back towards the end of the series, I have to choose the Milwaukee Bucks in six, me personally. But again, I
I
don't
agree with
expect
that.
Hallie to play, you know, poorly all the time. It's his first playoff game. I expected some nervousness. I expected just some adjustments. I expect him to be better because we all know he's a stud. The last East playoff game is New York and Philadelphia, which is on right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the
And
Knicks are up by 5.
how much time is left?
4 minutes, but I'm on Google right now. I gotta get on Bleacher Report.
Now you got to get on Reel. Reel's a good app, man. We're not sponsored, but Reel's a good app for stuff like that. Let's check. Embiid's hooping though.
Oh no, they're
Oh,
tied.
it's tied. It's
They're
tied.
tied with 349. Oh wow.
Okay. But yeah, so um this is an interesting one. I want to hear your thoughts on this first before I dive into it. This is an interesting. I think this is the most interesting series in the East.
Yeah. So from what I understand, the Knicks were 3-1 against the Sixers this year,
Yes.
but most of those matchups were without Embiid,
Yes.
which is something to very much take into account. I know Hartenstein is good. Hartenstein is good. Their defense is good, but Embiid really is a monster.
Yes.
And for them to not have to deal with him in basically all their matchups is a problem. And they very much are going to have to comp because I know Jalen Brunson last game was pretty mediocre
He was.
by his standards. Now let's see how he's playing tonight. I mean, Embiid's going crazy,
He's got
34 and
31
10.
and yeah, 34
Maxi's
and
doing
10.
his thing. Harris is just
Ooh, Brunson's horrible right now.
oh
7 for
yeah,
24.
oh man,
Is he a playoff choker? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to go that way. But 7 for 24 is horrible. But the fact that the Knicks are still in this is pretty crazy.
yeah, that says a lot. I think that
29%
very
is
much says a
awful.
lot because at the end of the day, while Brunson's been the main talk of the Knicks, he's a superstar. He changed everything. At the end of the day, it's a team sport, and I think that if your superstar is not playing up to par and your team can stay in it, when he's back on his feet, that's dangerous.
I agree
Because
with
both
you.
these games have been fairly close, and this
Yeah.
man's been mediocre.
I you know, Philadelphia has Embiid and Maxi, which is a better duo than Brunson and Hart,
Yeah,
especially obviously like with Randall out for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
However, the depth in New York, I think, will really show in this series because the Sixers are not a very deep team. They have
Yeah.
pieces off their bench, but they're not as consistently deep as as New York. But with that being
Yeah, New
said,
York. Yeah, I mean,
my worry was that with Julius Randle out, Jalen Brunson would have to do basically everything. Clearly, that
everything
hasn't been the
offensively. Yeah.
case so far. I mean, Josh Hart, shout out to Josh
Yeah, he
Hart.
has
He's been
21 points
amazing.
right now, 7-15. He made 4 threes. And then DiVincenzo, he's made 3 threes, 4 of 8 from the field, 5 free throws, 5 free throws made and taken. They're gonna play good D. It's really just the offense that they need,
Yeah, yeah.
which is all on Brunson's hands.
So
But
I
I hope he
mean,
can lock in.
let's see what he can do.
Yeah,
Ultimately, though, what's your pick?
I would say Knicks in 6, but a hard fought 6. Not
Hard
like
fought
a
six.
it's a hard fought 6. But
Oftentimes,
I
yeah,
very much can see Philly winning.
yeah.
I don't want to just
Oftentimes, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
you
So,
know, okay. I don't want to completely knock them off because
yeah,
they haven't played them at full strength.
yeah.
So I can see it go either way, but I'm gonna say Knicks in 6. Hard fought.
For me, oftentimes you have to go with who is the best player in the series. Embiid is the best player in the series and has been. I don't. Last game wasn't too good, but he got that injury, so it is what it is. But in general, he's the best player in the series easily. Um, but I think New York right now just has a much deeper team, and that matters come playoff time. I can see it going. I can see it going either way, but with the health of Embiid in question, I'm
You
gonna
have
have to
to, yeah.
go Knicks and I'll say Knicks in 7. I
Next
think we're
7.
going to get
Yeah,
a
that's
game
fair.
7 out of this because once they go back to Philadelphia, that's a hard place to play in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I mean, New York and Philadelphia, pretty toxic places right there.
Oh
Although,
yeah,
you
bro.
know,
So even
all you're
I was
missing is
literally at
Boston.
work. I was like, yo, bro, if the Knicks win the chip, bro, New York's gonna burn down.
It's going to burn down. Yeah,
New York's gonna burn
it's insane.
down.
So yeah,
Oh,
that's what I personally have on that. Moving over to the West, we have you know what? Let's talk about Lakers and Nuggets.
can we not?
All
Can
right,
we
let's
not? Can we
no,
not?
just real
Because
quick. Nuggets gonna win that.
this should be a sweep.
I'll say
And
Nuggets in 5. I think LeBron's gonna go off and they're gonna get one. And I think there's gonna be one game where AD will outplay Nikola Jokic. Will it
Jokic.
be tonight? We'll see. Probably not. But once they head back to LA and they're out of that, altitude, they're gonna win one. I definitely feel like they're gonna win one. We have Mavericks and Clippers. Talk about that game and the last one. That was weird. That blowout with
They got
Kawhi
murked.
not even playing.
Yeah, they got
Um,
murked. Let me see these stats.
while you're looking at that, I kind of feel like the Clippers are gonna get this done. I just I don't feel confident in Mavericks depth too much.
Yeah, I was looking
Um,
at it right now at these boys.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is not him, but he will be him for
Streaky.
at least one of those games because you know how
He's
he is.
streaky.
He's a
Yeah,
streaky.
streaky.
He's a streaky shooter. Um, Obviously, of course, Kyrie Irving is going to be Kyrie Irving. Luka is going to be Luka. Daniel Gafford's been. I mean, he's been playing great. He's been like, he was close to breaking like a Wilt Chamberlain record or
For
something.
Chamberlain's record, yeah.
Yeah. So he's been playing very consistent for them. I'll say that. And then the other front court player that they have, PJ Washington, they acquired him in the trade deadline. He's been hooping as well, and I think that's going to be
Yeah.
good for them. Um, Ultimately, though, I kind of feel like the Clippers are going to get this done, even without. I mean, the streets are saying Kawhi is going to come back, but the streets have been wrong before about Kawhi Leonard. But
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue seems pretty confident that Kawhi will come back, so I'm willing to give the benefit of doubt, even though I probably shouldn't. And when that happens, I do feel like they will get this done. I'm going to say Mavs in six.
Mavs
Excuse
in
me. I'm
six.
going to say Clippers in six.
Clippers
Excuse
in
me.
six.
Clippers in six.
You see, I never been one to sleep on Luca. I think he should be MVP this year. I never been one to sleep on Luca. He is that guy, and Kyrie can work in situations like this. But I feel like the Clippers are definitely the more well-rounded team. Even if Kawhi were to miss the series, to have Harden there, Paul George, Zubac is a very slept-on player. He's so solid.
He
Zubac is
is.
solid for like a double-double every night. Like Norman Powell didn't even. Norman Powell took 6 shots. Like
He's a killer
that's
sometimes.
their microwave off the bench, bro. And he only
Killer.
has 6 shots. You give him more shots, he's gonna do something with that. Westbrook off the bench is good. Plumlee is solid. They have the deeper team because when it comes to the Mavericks, it's literally like you have Luca, Kyrie, and then hope Tim Hardaway shoots well. And then it's like after that, it's like what you got offensively.
What's funny is I think Seth Curry is on that. No, I think I traded to the Hornets, but he
I think
was
you're
on
talking
that
about
team.
Dante Exum because Dante
No,
Exum had a little streak there. He was good.
no, yeah, I was saying that Seth Curry used to be on the Mavericks, I think, but then he
Yeah.
got traded to the Hornets, and he used to be a good piece off the bench, but he's not anymore. He's not even. I don't think he's getting much playing time. But yes, Exum, very good. Philadelphia is up by 4, by the way. A minute left. Um, we both know someone that's not going to be very happy about that,
Oh
but
yeah.
we do know we both also know someone that will be very happy about that. So um
Hey, people, the Discord gonna get real toxic in
oh
here.
yeah, for sure. But ultimately I got Clippers. Now Suns and Timberwolves, real quick. It's a battle of one of the best defensive teams and a team that I feel can be one of the best offensive teams. When you got a core of Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, it's hard to really go against those guys. Grayson Allen's been, I think he just got extended recently, actually.
Yes, he did.
He's
He
been
got he
playing
got the bag.
very
He got the
well
bag.
lately. Nurkic is getting kind of slow, but the Timberwolves defense, I mean, I feel like we've seen in the past KD. It's
Oh, he's
weird.
torching good defenses.
It's it's ridiculous. But Devin Booker just wasn't doing anything in the last game.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember what Beal had. Let me look it up real quick.
15 points,
15.
6 assists, 2 rebounds. He shot 6 for 10, 1 of 3 from 3-point line. 3 steals though.
Three still okay, that's
Only
good.
1 turnover. He played well.
But Booker has to step it up. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. No, this is a
We have seen him turn it up in the playoffs before, but we've also seen very opposite performances from him. So you never know what you're gonna get with that guy. But Timberwolves are a crazy team. I do notice though they're like bottom 20 in offense, which is horrible for a team that's supposed to be a contender. Um, but they're so good in
they're middle of the
defense.
road. They're 16th in offensive rating
Since when? Like since the
for the
beginning of the
season.
year?
For the season, yeah.
I guess they improved. Never mind. I take that back.
Yeah.
Um, but still, though, I mean, I think at one point in time they were bottom 20. They seem to have improved, but I'm still a little worried about their offense. I think they can slip. And what I do know is that in clutch time, they're not very great,
Mm,
which is going to be an issue
that's
because
massive.
if the
That's
game is
massive.
close, look, man, Anthony Edwards is incredible, but Kevin Durant is that guy in clutch time.
Oh
So
yeah, we
was
know this.
Booker, but I got Wolves in 6. What about you?
I would take the Wolves because I'm looking at this roster the Suns got, and they have no depth. It's like Royce O'Neal actually played super well yesterday, and still they got blown out. Booker played bad, and even if he played well, they still would have lost by double digits. It's like The way I see it, they very much are lacking depth, like everyone was talking about. So with the players that the Timberwolves have off the bench, Neil Alexander Walker, right? That's yeah, Neil Alexander Walker, Nas Reed, those
Nas
two
Reed.
alone, those two alone are better than anything they got on their bench. So it's like when you have the rotations up against the Suns rotations, when one of the three superstars are off the floor, the Timberwolves are looking a lot better.
Yeah.
They're gonna have that great defense. They have an offense that is about average, but we see that they can very much play above that. I very much believe that if they lock in, if Anthony Edwards played like he did last night, Mike Conley played bad. This man shot 2 for 12. 2 for 12. And they still won by what, 25 points?
Yeah.
Cat only played 27 minutes. He's coming off his meniscus tear, right?
Yes.
So
It might have been
Gobert
MCL, but yeah.
MCL, yeah, Gobert crashing the boards, playing that interior defense. Realistically, I'll take the Wolves in 5.
Meniscus, you were right. Wolves in 5.
Wolves in
Really?
5. Yeah.
Which game do the Suns win? Just like
They can win one at home, I
at
think.
home?
They can win one at home, maybe.
Okay. That's interesting. Um, our last match is one that I care the most about, of course. The playing tournament, Bulls and Hawks. No, Thunder and Pels. Um, last game, SGA struggled a little bit, but he put on a show towards the end. Jalen Williams needed him so badly. Other Jalen Williams hit some really nice. I think he hit one very important three, and I remember he turned to Jonas Valanciunas, who he got um, tangled up with earlier, and he started, just going yeah. And I've never seen him because he's always smiling, he's always happy, but not this time, not this time. Um, we are the best 3-point shooting team in the league, and we missed like most of our threes. Um, the Pels also, McCollum and Ingram did not play all that well. Matter of fact, Trey Murphy was their leading scorer. That's not ideal for the Wolves. It's ideal for the OKC, but I've read from Pelicans fans and stuff that Ingram generally tends to struggle against smaller guards like Dort.
Makes
Um,
sense. That length he's got probably
yeah,
can't really adjust properly to. Yeah.
and I mean Dort is a tank. Like
Yeah,
he's
that too. Yeah, that
he's
dude's
a
big.
tank.
That dude is big.
So I most of the core guys haven't really played in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you had to take time to adjust. They also didn't play in a week. So they were probably a little rusty. I wouldn't, like, I don't blame them for that. Still, though, the best player in the matchup acted like the best player in the matchup come crunch time. According to one of my friends who is a Pelicans fan, Pels aren't very good come clutch time. So, but with all that being the case, hold on, I just heard someone scream. The Knicks took the lead.
Oh,
All right.
it's gonna be real spicy tonight, people.
Oh man.
It's
So
gonna be a spicy Discord tonight. Oh yeah.
yeah. I personally, although we have issues with knocking out our shots, we consistently were one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. I think OKC will be able to handle this. Obviously, Zion's not playing in the Pels, which stinks for the Pels. I hope Zion seriously heals though, because he was playing great before he got injured.
No, he
And
was. If he stayed in that game, Lakers would have been
Lakers
bounced.
would have won.
They, Lakers,
Excuse me.
yeah,
Yeah,
they would
no,
have
they
been
would have
bounced.
lost. Yeah, they would have lost. Yeah,
I remember seeing people make excuses like, "Oh no, it doesn't matter," blah blah blah. Like that man was
yeah,
torching us.
yeah. But I mean,
Looking
what's
at
your
the
pick?
stats from that game, both the teams played pretty bad. Like literally, OKC had beat them in most in most like stats in the game. The Pelicans only had two more steals. They grabbed eight more rebounds, which is important. They actually had more turnovers. Free throw percentage was 1% off in their favor. They shot the three ball worse, and they shot the ball worse in general.
Hmm.
So it's like if they keep this up without Zion to be there, help them inside, because even though Chet is tall as heck, we very much are aware that the Zion, he doesn't really care if you're taller than him. He's gonna bully you, and he's gonna get into the paint, and he's gonna score the ball. So it's like to have that size mismatch. I think Chet would struggle.
Hmm. Um,
But if what is true about if Ingram and McCollum keep playing like this, which is two games in a row
yeah.
so far in the playoffs, which is not a great sign, and the Thunder actually play to what they are known to play as, they got their feet wet in the playoffs. If they can get back on their feet to play to even close to a level that they were at during the season, this could be an easy series in my opinion.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Thunder and five. I think the
105.
Pels. I think they can maybe have one more game where they perform like this and the Pels get the best of them. But very much, I don't see it going like that way the whole series.
Yeah, I got Pels. Excuse me, what? I got Thunder
Wow. Okay.
versus Pelicans. I got the Thunder winning. Obviously in like 5 or 6. It's not going to be a sweep. I highly doubt that. The inexperience for OKC will show, but
Wow.
I understand they're an inexperienced team, but they're a smart one. And I
Yeah.
saw towards the end, SGA had some turnovers that are very uncharacteristic of him. But that's all I have. So in terms of what this podcast will have in the future, I don't know. It's gonna be basketball. We're gonna talk playoffs. I do have ideas for other episodes as well, for sure. And as for how often we're gonna upload, I don't know. But we're gonna do, I know we're definitely gonna cover when the matchups are done for the first round, most of them at least, if they finish around the same time, we'll definitely make an episode covering them and then predicting what's going to happen in the next round.
Yeah. We're
But I do have some fun bonus episodes planned as well, and I think if you're a basketball fan or just love the sound of our voices, then you're going to be interested in what we have coming up. Metabolism Men's coming back soon. Just wanted to talk a little basketball for now. But until then, I didn't come up with anything to like consistently sign us off on. But have a good day.
um LeBron ain't the GOAT controversy.
Oh man.